Hello and welcome to another ACY Securities daily report video. My name is Alistair Schultz and I'm going to be a host for today's trading journey. The first thing I'm looking at in one of today's videos is what's going on with the National People's Congress annual meeting. We only get these meetings once a year and they generally do give a fair bit of information about what we can expect for China and their growth options over the next sort of year or so. Now, the meeting is going to be held on the 5th of March, and generally these meetings last close to 2 weeks, but sometimes it's a little bit less. Now, usually what we see, the NPC generally reveals changes to policy and also personnel that might actually be influencing some of that policy. Last year, the focus was entirely around national security and Hong Kong, and of course, they also decided not to give targets on certain things such as GDP growth, because of what was happening with the pandemic side. Now, this year, the same sort of resolution is probably going to be in the case. We're going to be looking at the economy. We're going to be looking at the recovery efforts. There's obviously going to be national and local budgets being talked about, but also now with all the talk about chip manufacturing, probably some tech ambitions as well. So I've kind of compiled a list here on what I'm going to be watching for whilst they're having the meeting. Now, the first thing is a growth target. Last year, we didn't get one. If they do not put another one in place for this year, it signals that they are actually looking to expand other areas of the economy rather than have a broad spectrum target. So it would suggest that there are areas that still need some support coming in for them. Now, as well as that, we're also wanting to see if they put a target for the 5-year plan. Now, I'm at the estimation right now that we're probably looking for somewhere between 5.5 and 6.5% per year. So that gives us a little bit of a target to work with for this year, even if they don't put a target in place. Now, obviously, the next part to look at is stimulus tapering. We're going to be trying to see if they want to reduce some of that debt growth that's been going on. Obviously, there's been a lot of debt rising in the China area, and of course, their economy doesn't deal too well with it. They want to try and get that back on track. So tapering some of the stimulus programs and support programs that they have implemented is going to be a key focus today. Outside of that, obviously the economic goals that they're going to be pursuing over the next 5 years, other than just a growth target, is going to be important. This might include the sectors they're going to be developing the most. In this instance, I think sciences and technology are probably going to be the big ones, particularly when they've talked about wanting to set up their own sort of area for chips manufacturing and the variety of others that have been blacklisted perhaps at this point in time. Outside of that, we're going to be focusing on what they're going to be doing about the aging population. So expect to see some things around healthcare and obviously aged care that might pop up in there as well. Now, further forward from that, we're going to be looking at financial system reforms. We've already seen some reforms taking place in the last couple of weeks. I imagine there is more to come on that front. Defense spending is going to be another big piece. Energy targets and what they plan to do about greenhouse emissions are going to be something to keep an eye on as well. And of course, we can't forget about Hong Kong and the situation that's arising there and what it looks like for the next year. Now, moving forward from all of that, we are going to have to keep a very close eye on their production numbers. We have seen some sort of slightly negative data in the last couple of weeks, or at least not as good as expected. And that's not to be unexpected because of the Lunar New Year, but we would like to see some of those figures popping back up on the PMI charts over this month as well. Now, if you have any questions or you are looking at getting an idea on what's going on in these charts, then don't forget to look at your economic calendar. Sometimes it'll give a little bit of extra information that we may not have looked at before. Now, of course, if you want to get in contact with me, feel free to shoot me a message at any of my social medias that you can see behind me right now. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video so you can get more great content from me and ACY Securities in the future. Have a great trading day ahead.